You wake up and reach for your phone before you even open your eyes. Not because anything important happened, not because you are expecting a message, just because. The habit fires before the thought does. You scroll for 11 minutes, maybe 20, and then you put it down and start your day. Except the day feels a little duller than it should. Your coffee doesn't quite hit the way it used to. The sunlight through the window means nothing. A song you used to love plays and you feel almost nothing. You are not sad. You are just flat. This is not burnout. This is not stress. This is your brain. Hijacked. Something has quietly broken inside the most important reward system in your body. And the strange part is that it happened without you noticing. One 30-second video at a time. That system runs on a single molecule, dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical messenger your brain produces to drive you toward rewards. It is not the chemical of pleasure. That is a common mistake. It is the chemical of wanting, of anticipation, of the hunger that makes you pursue something before you have it. When your brain predicts a reward is coming, dopamine surges through a pathway deep in the midbrain, flooding the regions responsible for motivation, focus, and decision-making. It is the reason you turn the page of a gripping novel at midnight when you should be asleep. The reason a film with a slow-burning plot feels electric right before the twist arrives. The reason finishing something hard, a run, a project, a difficult conversation, leaves you feeling genuinely alive. For most of human history, dopamine was calibrated to effort. You worked, you waited, you earned the reward. And when it came, the chemicals spiked, the satisfaction landed, and then your brain returned to baseline, ready to want again when something truly worth wanting appeared. That reset was everything. It kept the system clean. Now look at what replaced it. Scroll, new face, new sound, new color, 15 seconds, scroll, another. Your brain fires dopamine at every flash of novelty because novelty once meant new resources, new information, new survival advantages. The apps know this. They were built around it. Every autoplay, every infinite feed, every notification engineered to arrive at the exact moment your attention starts to drift. These are not features. They are levers, pulled directly against your own biology. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris called them persuasion architectures, systems designed not to serve you but to hold you. Each scroll is a slot machine pull. The variability is the mechanism. Your brain keeps chasing the reward that never fully arrives. And this is where the damage begins. When you flood the dopamine system with cheap, rapid triggers, dozens of them per hour, hundreds per day, your brain responds the way it always responds to excess. It adapts. It pulls back. It reduces the sensitivity of its own receptors to compensate for the flood. This is called downregulation, and it is the same process that drives drug tolerance. Dr. Anna Lemke, a psychiatrist at Stanford University who has studied behavioral addiction extensively, describes what follows as a dopamine deficit state. Your baseline drops. The system that was once sharp and responsive becomes dulled, and suddenly nothing feels like enough. The walk you used to enjoy feels pointless. The meal you cooked feels unremarkable. The book you opened feels slow. Your brain is not broken. It is waiting for the hit it has been trained to expect. And the screen, the scroll, the next 30 seconds of something new. Everything else has been outcompeted by a system engineered by some of the most sophisticated behavioral scientists on the planet, optimizing for one thing, keeping your eyes moving and your dopamine receptors just unsatisfied enough to keep going. Research published in JAMA Pediatrics tracking thousands of children found that those spending more than 2 hours daily on screens showed measurably lower cognitive performance over time. Studies in preventive medicine reports linked high social media use in adolescence to rising rates of anxiety, depression, and a peculiar modern loneliness. Not the loneliness of isolation, but of being constantly connected and feeling nothing from it. The mechanism is always the same. When every quiet moment is immediately filled with a stimulus, the brain never learns to generate motivation from within. It outsources its own aliveness to a device. But here is what matters most. This is reversible. The brain that was rewired can be rewired again. Neuroplasticity works in both directions. Dr. Lemke's clinical research shows that after roughly 4 weeks of significantly reduced screen stimulation, patients report their emotional baseline recovering. Ordinary experiences begin to carry weight again. The flat landscape lifts. You do not need to throw your phone into the ocean. You need boundaries, and you need to replace what the phone stole with something real. Start with limits. 2 hours of phone use per day sounds impossible until you actually try it, and then it sounds like freedom. Set the screen time restriction tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight. The discomfort you feel in the first few days, the restlessness, the reaching for the device out of pure reflex, that discomfort is the signal that recalibration has begun. Then fill the gap with dopamine the old way. Go for a run, not with a podcast, not with a playlist, just the sound of your own breathing and the physical fact of your body working. Exercise triggers a natural dopamine release that lasts for hours and strengthens the very receptors the scrolling eroded. Cook something that takes effort, an actual meal from actual ingredients with your hands. The process of building something and then eating it is a complete dopamine cycle. Anticipation, effort, reward, satisfaction. Your brain knows the difference between that and a video. It has always known. Pick up something difficult, a skill, a project, a book that asks something of you. Not because it will feel immediately good, it will not. The first hour of doing something hard after weeks of cheap stimulation is uncomfortable and unremarkable. Push through it. What you are doing in that hour is rebuilding the capacity to want things that matter. Every minute you spend tolerating the slow, the difficult, the boring, you are lengthening your dopamine runway, restoring the ability to feel genuine satisfaction from genuine effort. Let yourself be bored. This sounds like the least useful advice imaginable, but neuroscientist Marcus Rachel at Washington University identified the default mode network, the brain system that activates during rest and undirected thought, as the origin point of creativity, self-reflection, and spontaneous motivation. It only turns on when you stop feeding yourself input. Boredom is not emptiness. Boredom is your brain clearing its throat before it says something worth hearing. The goal is not to become someone who never watches a short video again. The goal is to become someone whose nervous system is not dependent on them. Someone who can sit in a quiet room and feel fine. Someone who opens a book and gets pulled in. Someone who finishes a hard task and feels the clean, specific satisfaction of having done something real. You woke up this morning and reached for your phone before your eyes were open. The day tasted like nothing. Now you know why, and now you know that the flavor can come back, but only if you put the device down long enough to remember what you were hungry for in the first place.